It is a Tuesday night. Rain everywhere. The kind that does not fall so much as hang in the air. Cold, relentless, soaking through your coat before you have made it half a block. And you are standing outside the most intimidating building in the Iron District. Not because you belong there, but because you left your grandmother's umbrella inside. And you simply cannot leave without it. That is where Sarah Ellison is. 29 years old, bridge engineer. Sensible shoes, terrible timing, and a silver owl umbrella that survived 2 world wars and 4 generations of her family pressing it into her hands and saying the same thing every single time. Go back. Always go back. So she went back. Now, the Meridian is not the kind of place you walk into twice without an invitation. It is a private members club in the heart of the Iron District. All dark marble, quiet money, and the kind of silence that costs more per square foot than most people's apartments. Sarah had been inside exactly once, 2 nights ago. A client dinner she spent the entire evening surviving in heels that were half a size too small. She slipped out early, left the umbrella at coat check, did not think about it again, until this morning when she reached for it and found nothing but air. She pushes through the front door, expecting someone with a name tag and a polite smile. Instead, she finds an empty lobby. Low lighting, the soft, persistent hum of a building working harder than anyone notices. And at the far end of the room, a digital check-in terminal, blinking green. She crosses to it, means to find the lost and found option. Touches the screen. It flashes once. Access granted. The elevator at the end of the hall chimes open. The button inside, floor 43, is already lit. She should walk out. She knows that. She is a woman who understands load-bearing limits, who knows the precise point at which something tips from stable into dangerous. Every careful, sensible instinct she has is telling her that this elevator and that glowing green button are well past that point. She gets in anyway. The doors close. The city drops away beneath her. And when they open again on the 43rd floor, she does not step into a hotel corridor. She steps into someone's world. Floor-to-ceiling windows run the length of the room, and beyond them, the Iron District spreads out in every direction. 43 stories of rain-washed city, glittering and patient, and more beautiful than she has ever seen it from down below. Everything inside is immaculate, intentional, the kind of quiet that is not empty, but full of thought, full of discipline, full of someone who decided a very long time ago exactly how they wanted to live and has never once wavered. Then a voice comes from the far side of the room, low, unhurried, the voice of someone who has never once needed to raise it. You are not security. She straightens, lifts her chin, reminds herself she has built load-bearing structures in earthquake zones, and she is not about to be undone by a voice in a dark room. No, she says. I left an umbrella downstairs. I think the elevator made a mistake. A pause. This elevator does not make mistakes.
He steps out of the shadows, and Sarah understands, in the way you understand something that quietly rearranges the way you see the world. exactly who she is looking at. Elias Vance, 38, dark hair gone silver at the temples in a way that looks less like age and more like weather, like a man who has been through something significant and come out the other side, still standing. The kind of face that belongs on a coin, except coins do not have eyes like that. Steady eyes, warmer than they have any right to be, given everything she has ever heard about him. He is holding a cup of coffee, as though he has completely forgotten it exists. You have to understand something about Elias Vance. You do not get to know him. That is simply the reality of the Iron District. He exists the way gravity exists, as fact, as given, as the invisible force that everything else quietly organizes itself around. He has not been photographed in 5 years, has not attended a public event in longer. His name appears on buildings and foundations and city contracts, but he himself appears nowhere. Nobody gets to the 43rd floor. And yet, here she is, and here he is, and neither of them seems to know quite what to do about it. "I will go," she says. "I am sorry for intruding." "Your umbrella," he says, "is on the table by the door." She looks. It is. She crosses to it, picks it up, turns toward the elevator. "You designed The Halcyon footbridge," he says quietly. She stops, turns around, slowly. "How do you know that?" He looks at her with those steady, too warm eyes. "I walk across it every morning. It is the only beautiful thing in the Iron District that anyone can actually touch." The rain presses softly against the glass. 43 floors below, the city goes on living. And in that long, suspended moment between his words and her response, something shifts in the air between them. Barely perceptible. The way a bridge shifts in wind. All that invisible accommodation. The structure finding its balance. She does not press the elevator button. He offers her coffee. Impossibly, inexplicably, he offers her coffee. And she says yes. He shows her the room behind the bookshelves. It hums, quietly, persistently, like a heartbeat. Screens from floor to ceiling. The city rendered entirely in light. Traffic flows, utility grids, water systems, real estate corridors, all of it pulsing in real time. A living map of everything moving and everything still. He does not manage money from up here. He manages the city itself. "This is how the Iron District never floods," she says softly, her engineer's mind already mapping the logic of it. "This is why the traffic on Callan Street rerouted the night of the festival." "Infrastructure," he says simply. "The part no one wants to think about, until it fails." "You do this alone?" A pause that lasts exactly 1 beat too long. "I did." She looks at him then, really looks, and recognizes something she had not expected to find in a man like this, in a room like this. The particular bone-deep exhaustion of someone who has been holding something enormous up for a very long time and has simply never put it down. She recognizes it because she carries something like it herself. The weight of work that matters too much to do carelessly and matters too much to stop. And then she sees it. She is studying the Eastern Corridor map when she notices the flaw. It is so subtle, she almost misses it. Almost. Your bridge, she says slowly, the one planned for the Eastern Corridor, the weight distribution, is wrong. He goes very still. Every firm I hired missed it, he says quietly. Because they were looking at the budget, she says, not the bedrock. A long silence settles over the room. She can feel him looking at her, the way she looks at a structure she cannot quite figure out, with complete, unsettling attention. The kind of attention that does not leave room for anything else. Where? He says. Just that one word. She picks up a pen from his desk without asking, leans over the map, draws one clean, precise line. He leans in beside her to look, close enough that she could turn her head and end everything. The conversation, the careful professional distance, the quiet pretense that this is just about a bridge. She does not turn her head. There, she says. He studies it for a long moment. She can hear him breathing. She is very aware that she can hear him breathing. Then, very quietly, I have had 12 engineers in this room. Not one of them saw that. She straightens, steps back, meets his eyes. Then you have been talking to the wrong people. He looks at her for a long time after that. Not the way men usually look at her. Assessing, measuring, deciding. He looks at her the way she looks at a bridge that has just done something extraordinary. Like he is reconsidering everything he thought he understood about what was possible. The umbrella, he says finally. It was not left by accident. What? She says. The code check system recognized it. The monogram, the owl, it matches a registered token. My grandfather designed the protocol decades ago. He placed 11 tokens out into the city. Keys of a kind. Each one meant to find its way back, eventually. He holds her gaze. I have been wondering when the last one would arrive. It is nearly 3 in the morning. The rain has softened outside. The city glitters below them, unhurried and vast, full of people who have no idea that above them, in a room that does not exist on any public record, a bridge engineer and the man who runs the city in the dark are standing very close together, next to a map, with one clean new line drawn across it. He does not offer her money. He does not offer her power or access or any of the currency men like him are supposed to trade in. He offers her the problem. I need someone who looks at the bedrock, he says, not the budget. She picks up the umbrella, turns it in her hands. The silver owl catches the light from 1,000 city windows below, and her grandmother's voice comes to her across decades, soft, certain, and completely sure of itself. This will always bring you home, my darling. Wherever you leave it, go back. Always go back. She looks at Elias Vance, the man who walks her bridge every morning, who has been holding a city up, alone, in the dark, who went completely still when he drew one line on a map and has not quite recovered since. She sets the umbrella down on his desk. Tell me about the Eastern Corridor, she says. Some things you leave behind by accident. Some things you leave behind because some quiet part of you already knows you are going to need a reason to go back. Sarah Ellison went back for her grandmother's umbrella on a rainy Tuesday night in the Iron District.
What she found on the 43rd floor was a man who had been running the city alone, a bridge that needed fixing, and the precise, breathtaking feeling of being seen completely, not despite her mind, but because of it. She did not find a love story that night. She found something rarer. She found someone who spoke her language. And in the Iron District, where everything runs on systems and signals and the invisible weight of one person's sustained attention, that is where every great love story begins. Not with a kiss, with one clean line drawn across a map at 3 in the morning, and the decision to stay.